Illinois. This is your wake-up call.
Warning, warning, warning.
You are the solutions to all your problems. Stop thinking average. Become the hero version of yourself. Every day, every time, without fail, no exceptions. It all matters. You've entered the No Comfort Zone. It's time for a reality check.
Hey, it's May 19th and you're back in the No Comfort Zone. Thanks so much for listening. I appreciate you subscribing and connecting with me every now and again where you get a chance to hear me rant anywhere from as little as 4 minutes to as long as 22. I think that's the longest podcast that I've ever done so far. Thinking of actually doing a couple interviews. I got some people out there that are wanting to be on the No Comfort Zone. They want to talk to me about their reality check and where they've been at in their life. And they also want to talk about where they're going. So I don't know. Let me know what you think. Dan at the No Comfort Zone. Hit me up with an email. Let me know your thoughts on if I should turn this into doing a couple interviews. I think I should. And hey, and if you're interested, if you're listening out there, and if you've hit a run of really bad luck and you found a way to turn it around and make it, better for you and everyone around you, I'd love to hear about your story and what happened because I believe that we can learn from each other. And I believe that each and every one of us is great, not because just of being simply great, but because we've had bad things happen to us. We found a way to get around it, get over it, deal with it, and move on and become better because of it. And that's what the No Comfort Zone's all about. That's what this community is. Speaking of communities, do me a favor. If you go to the nocomfortzone.com, you can get a copy of the blueprint. You'll see me up there. I think on this one I'm doing, if you're sad, lonely, and confused or something along those lines, click on this, download the blueprint. And what I mean by that when I say that is you don't have to live in a bad state for a very long time. It's not permanent. The blueprint helps you get out of there so you can actually start kicking ass and taking names. So what I would like you to do is actually click on there and join the tribe of the No Comfort Zone, Team No Comfort Zone on Facebook. That would be pretty cool to see you on there. I'm trying to build that community. I will be throwing up more content. I'll be throwing up more content soon to give you a little bit of motivation, a little bit of inspiration inside that very private community where you could let loose on your motivation and your inspiration. So there we have it. Driving home right now, as you can hear, I'm in the car doing my thing in the studio, which today the studio is a BMW X5 2017, brought to you by Certified BMW. So anyway, driving home, and I had some things I wanted to talk about with this person that wants to come on to the the No Comfort Zone and do an interview with me, talking about some challenges that they faced. What I'm finding out is that there's a trend. Most people, this might be true for you, but most people find a place in their life where they actually kind of get hit pretty hard with some news. They realize they're in a pain point for whatever it might be. They might, like this. I'll give you my example. I look in the mirror and I'm like, man, I really put on the weight. I talk about it a lot because it doesn't make me feel good. Talking about it doesn't even make me feel good, but I want to do something about it. That's the No Comfort Zone. Deal with it and move on, right? Become better because of it. I might be out of shape right now, but I'll get myself in shape. And it's the process of going through that uncomfortableness to get to the end result is really what it's all about, and why there's a space called the No Comfort Zone. Success and motivation in the No Comfort Zone. So what happens is a lot of guys that I know, a lot of guys that are in this community, in this space especially, talk about dealing with adversity and what to do next. And that's true, very true for me, and true for a lot of other people. And if you could do one thing in your life, just one thing where you can enhance the quality of your life. For example, if I'm overweight, I control my appetite. I diet. I get into an eating program that's a healthy eating program. What ends up happening is I'm going to be I'll be in better shape. It's simple sense, right? But here's how you connect the dots. Here's where the last part of the blueprint that I talk about, the momentum comes in. When you find yourself in a place where you start to diet and then you exercise, it's easier to diet. Make sense? And when it's easier to diet, it is then, as long as you're doing it right, it's easier to exercise. And if you're dieting and you're exercising and you're hydrating, now, especially if you're a guy like me, I don't like to drink water all day long, but I have to. I know if I want to build muscle and if I want to be healthy, got to stay hydrated. Now, if I'm exercising, I'm dieting, and I'm hydrated, it makes me want to do all of those more so. So there starts to become this momentum, and it starts to get faster, and you're in a success cycle. Now, if you throw in another area in your life, let's say that you're dieting, you're exercising, you're hydrating, and you're sleeping really well, and you're resting when you need to, and that's going really well. Now you start to see results. So now you're even more jacked and pumped up. Well, now all you need to do is transition from that one point, from the health point of view, transfer that to, let's say, a spiritual point of view. I'm doing this, I'm dieting, I'm exercising, I'm hydrating, I'm doing all these things for myself in the space of health. Now from health, I want to go over to spirituality. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through a spiritual point where I'm going to meditate. I'm going to focus on being centered in the evening. I'm going to get myself to basically be centered in the evening. And in the morning, I'm going to do the same thing. So twice a day, I'm going to meditate. So now, here's how, this is the house that Jack built, the nursery room, right? I'm dieting, I'm exercising, I'm hydrating, I'm resting. I got my health in check. I'm working on that, and I got some momentum. I got some power behind it because I'm starting to see the results. I'm starting to feel good about myself. I'm starting to see the separation in my muscles, the fat's dripping off me, and things are going really well. And I'm feeling great because I have all this energy because I'm exercising, hydrating, resting, and I'm eating right. Now I incorporate spirituality. So now I'm starting to feel connected. I'm starting to understand that by being center, I start to draw things into my universe, into my space, into my aura, right? Now, not to be too far out there, but when you start to have some accomplishment from your spiritual point of view and you start to feel at peace on a consistent and very regular basis, we've got even more success now. And now you're in a greater success cycle. Now what you want to do is your relationship. I had a chance to go with financial or relationship there. I chose relationship just at random. So you could put finances there or whatever. But so now let's say you focus on a relationship. And so I'm going to repeat it again. And I know I sound so redundant, but I want you to understand what the no comfort zone is. Taking one level, an area of your life, like, for example, your health. And when you get to that level of health, rather than getting comfortable and saying this all there is, adding something on like spirituality. Now you've got your health and your spirituality and you're starting to feel great. You're starting to feel connected. What more can you have? What more can you do? What more could you be? Now you decide I'm going to extend myself and I'm going to get involved in a relationship. The no comfort zone is that transition when you're doing well. That's where you take, instead of talking about adversity all the time, like I do on the podcast, let's talk about growth. When you start to live in that accomplishment, let's go to accomplish more. Let's not sit back. Now you show up to this relationship and you're a great version of yourself because you're healthy and you're spiritually connected. Mentally, you're doing well because you have disciplines in place with diet, exercise, and your spirituality. And now you can get into a relationship because you're, quite frankly, you have conviction on who you are. Now that you're in this relationship, what do you need to do in the relationship? So it's really simple. You need to focus on being honest with yourself, having boundaries in place, communicating effectively, even over communicating. And what you also need to do in a relationship too is a lot of listening, a lot of caring, a lot of, just basically paying attention. And the biggest thing I want to learn the most that I learned about relationship in the last few days was the significance that you share with the other person in the relationship. So I focus, I'm selfish, I focus on me all the time. I have so much going on in my life. I'm working on this, I'm working on that. It's me. It's my time in the morning. It's my time in the evening. And my wife, who I love dearly, I just realized after learning something, what significance do I show her? How significant do I make her feel? Okay. So as I point out the relationship side of things, now I'm making my significant other feel really significant by pouring a lot of attention and making her feel like the woman she should feel. And I'm really laying it on and putting a lot of compassion and passion in that space. And now she feels like the queen. She feels like she's number one, and I'm putting her first what you end up happening is now you've got this dynamic going with these different areas in your life. You're unstoppable. You're 8 feet tall and bulletproof because you're doing everything right for your health, for your spirituality, for your relationship. Now let's incorporate finances into it. Now, if you're disciplined with your finances and you're educating yourself and you have a good attitude about finances and you're working on those daily habits, now you start to see that as a very wonderful being that you are by concentrating on these areas, just by focusing in one area and then transitioning to the next and the other, how you can develop this rock star lifestyle because you're just on stage all the time. You're constantly feeling great because of who you turned yourself into. The days that I really focus on all these areas, I do really well, and it lasts for a very long time for me. The days that I get caught up being short or not showing significance to my spouse or not paying attention to my finances like I should or not eating right, not hydrating, when I just miss a few things, well, I start to go down the failure cycle. And what I end up doing is I take shortcuts, and those shortcuts compromise my happiness. And in the long run, what I want to share with you is by having the disciplines in place, it allows me to actually work on myself and focus on the things that are really important. And that's going to be who do I want to become? What person do you want to be? Work on your disciplines, right? And the people that I meet that actually come to this space when they're at that crossroads or something really bad's happened to them, or they're at a point in their life where they're worried about the future because of they're so average or they're just stuck in this rut or whatever it is for them. What I find fascinating is that it's funny. There's so many people that know how to transition or take you from point A to point B. But what I'm talking about is taking you from point A to point B on an entirely life-changing in every aspect. So for example, if you take I'll just call it the challenge. Let's say if you take the No Comfort Zone challenge and you begin to work on yourself with the methods that I talk about, and however you do it, you put the disciplines in place, you start to work in one area, and then you work in another area, and then you work in another area, and you start to build. Let me just ask you, is that going to help? If you start to work on yourself in every aspect, it's hard to do it all at once, but when you start to compound the successes that you have, or you start to compound the work, what you end up doing is you do become better. And now that person that you've become is entitled, or you've earned higher stakes in life, whether that be more money, whether that be a better relationship or a more enhanced relationship. All the things you're looking for, you hold within you. And it really does come down to your ability to actually work in one area and get better at it, and then add another challenge to it. And then another challenge, whatever that might be. So that's why I talk about, for example, your health. And then you add your spiritual health. Then you add your relationships. You add your finances. Then you start to add your community. And then you just start to build yourself as a person. And I'm talking, we can do this within 60 days. You can start to feel what it's like to be completely different over 60 days. But everyone's like, that's a really long time. Now, if you've been down and out for a long time and you're just sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you can't figure out a way how to stop doing certain things in your life that are holding you back, this 60 days is it's a magic bus ride. You jump on, you go to work, you work on yourself, you look in the mirror, you deal with it, and you start to live an accomplishment. And that's what a lot of people don't realize. You start to live an accomplishment. So when you live in accomplishment, if you want to accomplish more, guess what? It's super easy. You just do more. But all too often, we don't start. Like I said in the last podcast, best thing you can do is start. Okay. So anyway, for the people that are out there trying to make a change in their lives, that's great. That's fantastic. That is awesome. I salute you, and I'm supporting you 100%. And if you need a little bit of help making some change in your life, hit me up. Go to Dan at the No Comfort Zone. Better yet, go to Apple iTunes, like, rate, review, do all those little things you can. I'd greatly appreciate it to help increase the awareness of the No Comfort Zone. And more importantly, I know that it's that time for me to say, get out of your comfort zone and live on purpose. But I truly mean that today and every day. Do something so that you can better yourself and better the people around you. And the best thing I know what to do is to stop being so selfish, right? Make more people feel really significant. And you do that by getting outside of your comfort zone, and you'll find your purpose.
Say goodbye.
Want more of the No Comfort Zone? You can follow Dan on Instagram and Twitter at NoComfortZone1.
Bye.
Or on the web at thenocomfortzone.com.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the No Comfort Zone podcast.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.